Good morning. Good morning. Getting this thing ready. Talk a little Green Bay today. Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. It's a 313 Villain Squad in the house. Want to welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lion Villain Report. I am your host, Russell Wayne. I will be with you for the next hour, talking football or whatever else that you guys want to talk about while you're in here. But today, I plan on talking about the Green Bay Packers as we're getting into the lull of our off season. Last week, we talked a little bit with Broski Bear about the Chicago Bears. And he's not as confident about the Chicago Bears as he is confident that the Lions aren't going to be good. So the Bears are interesting. They could do something this year. They had another great off season, but we talked a little bit about that last week. I wanted to invite A-Dub onto the show today and talk a little bit of Packers. I sent him a friend request yesterday. Hopefully we can get somebody on here to talk a little bit of Packers with you. But what do you think about the Packers? What they did during the offseason? Do you think that the Packers are a threat to the Lions in the NFC North? I don't. I think that the Lions continue to get better and better and progress further and further. And they're going to find out this year. The Lions are going to slip back into some kind of obscurity. There's no signs of that. And I did want to talk about some of these other teams because we have so much talk around here about an edge rusher. It's our Achilles heel. And none of these other teams that we talk about, like, what did the Green Bay Packers do that the Lions didn't do? Like, all the teams got better. All the teams went into a draft. All the teams got to do stuff during free agency. And we did the same thing we did last year. Last year, the whole offseason was, what are we going to do about number 3 wide receiver? This is going to shoot our season in the foot. What are we going to do about a number 3 wide receiver? And then Tim Patrick comes in and it's like, no big deal. They got a plan. And they've been doing that. Good morning, David.
Playoffs?
You like that? Glad to see you on here. Glad to see my folks on here. But the Green Bay Packers, let's see. What did the Green Bay Packers do? Why are we so scared about the Packers? For one, we owned the Packers last year. So just based off of what we had last year and what we did last year, Dan Campbell continues ownership over the Green Bay Packers, like he has since he's gotten here. Now, we're supposed to be scared of the Packers. Packers are always up there. They're like turning into the new Cowboys. Why are they good? What did they do that makes them good or be able to take the next step? They actually went backwards, in my opinion. Free agency, trades. Isaiah Simmons signs a 1-year deal. Versatile linebacker, that's nice, brings experience. McCole Hardman, speedy wide receiver. He's never really done anything. Aaron Banks, offensive guard that was signed to bolster the interior of their offensive line. It's okay. That's an okay signing. Nate Hobbs, you pay too much for a cornerback that is okay. Brandon McManus. So you're trying to establish continuity, and you have question marks there. You brought in McCole Hardman, and you have a bunch of other wide receivers. Now you went into the notable departures. Josh Myers, center. Your center. You lost your center. That's a big vacancy. A.J. Dillon, I mean, I don't know how big of a loss that you think that is, but, that's a third down back. Big dude right there. Eric Stokes, cornerback departure. So you lose a cornerback in Eric Stokes. You gain a cornerback in Nate Hobbs. That's like a wash in there. You lost your center, but you brought back a guard. So I guess that's kind of filling that back in their draft highlights. You got offensive tackle and a wide receiver, Matthew Golden, in the first round. Now, I'm not going to go off just like your late round picks are going to be significant guys over starters. I wouldn't do that with my own guys. I'm not going to tell you that, Ahmed Hassanin is going to come in and get 12 sacks. So you got your first 2 rounds of guys, offensive tackle, Matthew Golden too. That's a guy that the Detroit Lions wanted, or they at least brought him in. And in the front office, John Eric Sullivan, the vice president of player personnel, remains with the Packers after interviewing for multiple general manager positions, providing continuity in the front office. So you keep one of your boys. So the off-season strategy of the Packers reflects on focusing on enhancing the team's speed and versatility, particularly linebacker and receiver core. However, the loss of key players like Myers, Dillon, and Stokes present challenges that the team will need to address as they prepare for the upcoming season. And the effectiveness of these off-season moves will be tested very early with a Week 1 matchup with our Detroit Lions. So, what's up, Jason?
You like that? You like that?
I appreciate you inviting me out to play golf. I I'm not going to be good, but we can go out and we can shoot shit, you know, get away from the struggles of the mundane part of our lives and slap the shit out of some golf balls. I had to make sure I said golf balls because I don't want to say that right there. But thank you, Jason. It's faith, family, and football on this program. We use football. We don't let football use us. And we're talking off season. This show is brought to you by fanatics.com. You could use that QR code right there, or you could use that link that's in the comments, and you can go save up to 25% off of your order by using the villain link. You're welcome. You like that?
You like that? You like that?
Oh, blessings to you that are out there. Any questions out there? Oh, Rick C got no notification this morning. Sorry about that, Rick. I got a little, I think I got the notifications in there a little bit late. I apologize for that. But we're talking about the Green Bay Packers today. What did the Green Bay Packers do? Are they a threat to win the NFC North? Or, I mean, because when you look at, I mean, let's just look at the two teams that we've looked over here, which is the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears got way better. You know, they've been doing that for a couple of years now. I don't know how good they are. They usually come back and start doing bear down stuff by the middle of the season. But when you look at it from the outside, they've been stacking talent for the last couple of years. And every year there's a mark where you can go, man, they got really better here or they got really better there. I don't see that with the Packers. I see with every other team in the NFC North except for the Packers. I mean, you can look at Minnesota. You can look at the interior and you can go, okay, they did some stuff. They could be a force. They could be a force to be reckoned with. The Bears, I mean, they always have a great offseason. Get some of these guys. I mean, I really like what they did with the middle of their offensive line for the Bears. It's the thing that I've been harping on them for years. Every time someone comes in and tries to tell me that they're going to be good, it's like, man, you got to protect your quarterback. And that's okay. I mean, they hadn't done that up until this point, but they spent some money this year. They went out and put some resources into the middle of that offensive line, which leads me to believe that Caleb Williams could be better. That you go into the second year, you got some playmakers. You went and you drafted a wide receiver that's dynamic. So I like what the Bears did and where they were weak. I mean, they were already pretty good on the defense. But the Packers, it's like they lost players. They didn't replace all the players. They have problems. They have what? They don't have problems because I still think that they're good enough to win games. Let's put that caveat out there because I don't want everybody out here to go, oh God, Russ thinks that the Packers suck. I don't think that the Packers suck. I just think our division's really good. I think the Lions are really, really good. I think the Bears have the potential to be really, really good. I think the Vikings, you know, who knows how good Sam Darnold was. You know, I mean, how good is he really, or how much is that is, you know, O'Connell being an awesome coach and Could you put J.J. McCarthy in? That's the biggest question for the Vikings. Can J.J. McCarthy do anything near what Sam Darnold did? And before you jump off that, no, yeah, he's way better. You don't know if he's better than Darnold. Darnold played out of his mind last year for the most part. He won 14 games. So, I mean, I don't know. I think the Vikings, what they did on the defense, I mean, they built everything around. Kind of similar to the Lions in that way for the criticism is, you know, can Goff win the big game? It's the same thing. You built the entire team around him, and it's going to come down to, can Jared Goff win the big game? Can J.J. McCarthy go and win the big game? There's A-Dub. Wanted to get A-Dub in here. Let's see if I can just send to you, just to A-Dub. I'm sending you, that should have just went to you, A-Dub, an invite, because I want to talk to you more than I want to, not that I don't want to talk to anybody else, but I want to talk to you because you're a Packer fan. I like your takes as far as, I think that you don't troll and you actually have good takes. And I look forward to talking to you today in here about the Green Bay Packers. So we're looking at what they did during the offseason. And I mean, I don't know. I would love to hear a Green Bay Packer, you know, a Green Bay Packer, a take on this. Because they came on, I mean, they went 11-6 last year and had a playoff appearance. You had clear momentum behind Jordan Love. They added speed and versatility on both sides of the ball. Now, you did fill some of the key veteran departures, but not all of them. You got more weapons. That's good, but you didn't replace everything that went on there. Like, if I'm going to sit up here and I got to listen to Lion fan tell me how we're going to be in trouble because of our pass rush, because of one player, really what it comes down to, I can say some stuff here about the Packers did not replace all of their guys. Isaiah Simmons, the hybrid player, he's got range and versatility. You like that from the dude ran out of the gym. He's a physical freak, but he just hasn't popped anywhere. You know, he's been on some one-year deals. You know, going into Arizona and where the hell else did he play? Yeah, Cardinals and the Giants. Yeah, he never really popped there, but, you know, you're hoping, as a Packer fan, you're hoping that he's going to pop here. McCole Hardman, he's never really done anything but be Patrick Mahomes' guy. I don't know if you would like that one. I do like the Aaron Banks signing. I mean, when you lose a guy, even like Myers, you gotta replace that from the interior of the offensive line. Nate Hobbs, I mean, that's okay, but I would think that, you know, for a middle of the road cornerback, he might be better than Stokes. Stokes hasn't really done much in there. So I don't mind the things that they did, but they didn't go over the top, you know, barely maintaining the status quo of what they were last year. So that would be, oh, there we go. We got A-Dub is in the house. So I want to bring a nice welcome right here, because this is, we troll on here, but it's faith, family, and football in that order. That's why we can have good guests like this where we don't get out of control on here. But welcome to the show. A-Dub, how are you doing, sir?
Doing just well, Russell. Nice seeing you again.
Oh, it's nice to see. Let me get some. I think I got the music on a little bit too loud. Put a little more in the background there. Oh man, it's been this is the lull of the off season, brother. I mean, this is like we got to go 3-4 more weeks of just God, let's get into this training camp already. I'm excited for the season. Are you excited? What do you think of what the Green Bay Packers did this offseason? Give me about a minute of what your thoughts are.
I like the direction that they are going. Like they wanted to prioritize a certain change in the flow, like breaking tradition type of ordeal with some of the moves they made. I mean, when it came to the offensive lineman that we got in Aaron Banks, we wanted to specialize being far more better when it came to our run blocking ability. Like the guy we picked up supposedly has not allowed a single sack, and he's very well versed in starting at the left guard position. And the plan with bringing him in was a matter of us wanting to move Elton Jenkins to a more solid position where longevity would be a thing for him. Like we wanted to keep him a part of the team a while longer, so we wanted to move him to a spot where he's more comfortable and see better results from the center position, which is why we were willing to let Josh Myers go, because we didn't get enough from that area. And then the Nate Hobbs pick, we wanted to see better from the slot corner spot, give more guys fit and suited to that spot. So I know, and maybe it might have been an overpay to some degree based on the injury history that he has, but the guy does seem to fit well what we want out of corners, especially with the new scheme we're working with under Jeff Hafley. And then when it comes to the draft, I gave it a bit a solid B when it came down to my idea. Like I am okay with the picks they got, but I just wish they didn't wait till day 3 to address the defensive needs that we had. And some of the players that they got, I mock draft them to us before. The guys like Savion Williams and Baron Sorrell. And the first round pick, yeah, I was definitely overjoyed when they got Matthew Golden, because it does give us what we need when it comes down to a sure-handed wideout who has the ability to be our number one, who might be a do-it-all guy for us. Like the biggest knock you can give him is that his size and his build is not suited to the kind of receiver that we would want, but he's one of the first steps I say Green Bay's taking in towards a breaking tradition, because by tradition, this would not be the kind of receiver we would take in the first round, especially not the prototypical kind that Green Bay is accustomed to selecting. So we wanted to change that part up for ourselves as far as being better. And also the 4th round pick, Baron Sorrell, that's another part of breaking tradition as far as he's not the prototypical edge rusher that we normally would take in the first in any certain round. Guys that are more built with more size than him would be our first choice, and he was just our guy that we wanted to take in terms of changing things up on the defensive side of the ball as well, in terms of we want to be faster, more agile, and more flexible when it comes to the edge rush position. Like the pass rush for us was not that great last season, and we're trying to fix that accordingly. If that means we have to go outside the box about what we normally do in terms of addressing the position, and so be it.
Yeah, I get that. And you know, one of the things, the caveat that I always put to people is like every free agency, all of the deals are overpays. Like, I mean, every once in a while you can get some of these guys on like a 1-year deal or something like that. Well, they'll come in, but there's a reason that you're getting them on that 1-year deal. You know, when you look at any of the guys that you get on free agency, if you're not drafting your future players, then the free agents don't really even matter all that much until they've gotten into your team and they're into your flow and everything like that. And like, as far as the Nate Hobbs things go, like, you don't get great cornerbacks that just become available that you could just stick on your team. It's like people just act like you can just walk into Walmart. Oh, wow, I need a shutdown corner. Yeah, like, give me one of those. Give me an all-star pass rusher. Throw those in the cart. Do we get 2 for 1 today? No, you don't. You get 1 for 1, and if you do get that one, you're paying out the ass for it, especially if you're getting a guy that's up there. When I look at the Packers, one of the comments I made that before you came on was like, I don't mind what you did. Like if I just looked at your team, you went 11-6 last year, good team. You're able to beat most of the teams, but like this division, this division is brutal. Like to think that you could have you had a good draft. To think that you could have a good draft and possibly fall behind. I mean, and that's not just you guys. That's just the way I look at it because I'm a homer for the Lions for that. But I'm sure that like all four teams can kind of look at it and be like, yeah, what the Lions, they didn't they could fall. Or the Green Bay Packers, they didn't do as much as the Bears and the Vikings and the Lions. They could fall, all four teams. You could say something like that to where I could make a case for the Green Bay Packers winning the division. I could make a case for the Green Bay Packers finishing fourth. I could make a case for the Lions winning the division and for the Lions finishing fourth. All four teams, you could make a case and not get laughed out of the room like 4 years ago where I'm like, yeah, Lions could win the division. And you're like, yeah, sure. Like, okay, Matt Patricia, you're coming. Like, it wasn't realistic back then. But now it seems actually realistic that any four of the teams could win the division and any four of the teams could make noise and go far in the playoffs as far as, as injuries or whatever things that go into it to get you all the way to the Super Bowl. So it's crazy like that. So my troll talking came back a little bit. Like, I don't know, came down a little bit because I think that Dan Campbell has done a very good job against the Green Bay Packers, but we haven't won the big game yet. So that thing is always holding over our head. So what is your confidence level for the Green Bay Packers to maintain where they're at, or do you think that there's a chance that they might slip back in this division a little bit?
Confidence level is so in the moment to where I'd say there's still more to the team than what meets the eye. I mean, sure, we did have a good year last season, managing to get 11 wins and all, but my only ideal is where there's been more to this. There's still more that this team has to show, more that we have to prove. Like, sure, we made the playoffs, but we weren't that good against most playoff teams, especially when it comes to our record against them. Like, we had a 2-5 record against most playoff teams, and then we were 1-5 in the division. We definitely want to address and change that in the worst way, and I'm confident in the idea they could. I mean, much of it comes down to, as some people will say, Jordan Love has to show up this season, be much more consistent in his play. Like, most of us Packer fans are still 100% behind him. Like, we know he's got the talent, we know he's our QB, but we need to see that talent and solid play on a consistent basis. Like, he was so last year, and much of that could be part of the fact that he was hurt. He had to play through injury most of the year, but when you're out, even when it comes to the injuries that you suffer, you still got to be tough enough to play through it.
Now, Jordan Love to me is, God, he's such a wild card when it comes in with this. So the Packers did something so outside of the box to me. When you go for the wide receiver, it's like it seemed like every year they needed to draft a wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers, they drafted a cornerback. And the year that they needed to draft a cornerback, they drafted a wide receiver. Like, it's, oh man. But I don't know if there was a cornerback that was really worthy of, taking in that top round. But I was just like, I just thought that was kind of a, go ahead.
Well, to speak about that, the thing was, Green Bay did have their ideal corners that they wanted to go after, but whoever they did have, but when it came to some corners that they could have went after, they were getting taken off the board, and if anything they did, they stuck to their board and did not try to commit or reach for the guys that they really wanted at the time. it happened with the first 3 rounds to where we just stuck to our board and didn't commit a reach for a bad pick. And also another thing I like that they did was double dipped in a certain position like the wide receiver room. The reason why we did that was a matter of two things that happened. A few things that happened with our receiving room. Inconsistent hands, like we did lead the NFL in drops last year. Like we had too many drop passes out there on the field from some of our guys. And then there's the question about two receivers on our roster now who both had their issues with being injured a lot, but also they're in their final year, their rookie deal, and there's a slight chance we may not bring either one of them back. So we had to double dip in that position for the sake of being prepared for that.
Oh, man. John Dorn wants to come in afterwards after I've already went through the entire offseason and ask me, who did we lose, Russell? Like he's trolling me. All right, I will read it to you again so you can tell who you lost. All right. So you lost Josh Myers, you lost A.J. Dillon, and you lost Eric Stokes. Those are 3 players that you lost. You replaced Eric Stokes with Nate Hobbs, and you replaced Josh Myers with a hybrid, kind of, with your, Anthony Belton from the draft, and you were able to get Aaron Banks. So just to bring you up to speed, Dorn, I'm not just running my mouth here. I actually came in with real information about your team. I don't even think I'm really trolling you all that much today.
Yeah, you're right. Those are guys that we lost, but from our perspective and stance, those 3 guys you speak of weren't highly key players at their position. Like Stokes was well on his way out, especially when it came to his history, not only with injury, but he didn't live up to the billing for us at the cornerback position.
Right.
Like we already had other guys developing, being in front of him who was already taken over at that spot. And then Josh Myers was so at the center position. Like he could be up, he could be down, but he wasn't holding up very well at that spot to the point where we were going to eventually move on from him.
Yeah, there's no problems. Yeah, no problems with that at all. I'm just trying to.
And even AJ Dillon definitely regressed from where he was at the time. So, and given how our running back room is pretty much fixed up, it's to the point where he's no big loss.
Right. Well, I mean that's fine. You're that's still a person that was starting on your team, and you have to just. Whether he was playing good or not playing good, he wasn't playing bad all the time, or else he wouldn't have been a starter on the Green Bay Packers. Can we agree there? So he won the job. He played, and now you have to replace the production. Now, according to you and Dorn, that's fine. I mean, if you guys believe that you've replaced that production and you're going to hit the ground running, that's fine. I mean, that's okay. But my point to the exercise here is the entire NFC North got better, and it looks like the other 3 teams got better. Like they, especially when it comes to the Bears, but the Bears had so many problems. It's hard for them not to get better every year because they always finish so bad. So for them to make that jump to even be a competitive team is going to be a significant. They go 9-8. I think they might throw a party in Chicago, I mean, especially
my only talk about the Bears was just how well would the new changes you made manifest. Like I seen how you went about revamping and rebuilding your old line through free agency, getting some new names plugged in there to play, but my only question is how will it manifest? And then you hire Ben Johnson as your new head coach over there. I just like there, and my question is, will the kind of scheme that whatever kind of scheme and system that he pretty much brings to them, how well will they be able to adapt and adjust to it? And then the draft, even then, it's always the question mark about all these new changes you make to your team. How well will it manifest, and how much time do you need to adjust to it? Because every change a team makes, there's always growing pains involved.
Yes, and I feel that. I feel that 100%. He may hit the ground running. Ben Johnson's a good coach. I mean, when you look at what they did, I'm not going to sit up here and tell you I think that they're going to fall off the face of the earth after the moves that they made. And I'm definitely not going to submit to what John Doran's saying about the Lions window being closed. It's like that. Our team is so stacked and so deep that our first and second round picks are going to be in a rotation. Like, we got all of our starters and our backups already. We're drafting third, fourth guys on the depth chart right here, and we won 15 games last year. I mean, and we're going to get Aiden Hutchinson to add to that 15-win team, and y'all want to act like we're going to fall backwards? We're going to get Aiden Hutchinson back. We're going to get our starting linebacker back. Alex Anzalone's going to come back at full strength. David Montgomery's going to be back at full strength. What do you think? Like, you're just going to add those guys and we're going to take 2 steps back? Now, the record?
Well,
are we going to win 15 games next year? I'm not going to subscribe to that.
That's the question. Yeah, that would be the question. That would be the question. I'm sure some people would throw out there for the Lions. Can they repeat that kind of season that they had last year going into this year, especially when it comes to
like 9 teams.
Especially when it comes to the changes you made in your coaching staff. Can that high level of play you had last year be sustained?
Well, maybe not on offense, but the thing is like when you look at, if you want to blame Jared Goff, that's fine. That's fine. He threw a lot of interceptions in that last game, but watch the interceptions, guys. Watch the open door that Graham Glasgow made that was just like, hey, interior of the Commanders off the defensive line, just go ahead and hit Jared Goff anytime that you want for this whole game. So there are reasons that you had to fix the interior of that. You had to get more talent in the middle, and they brought in Tate Ratledge, who's probably the meanest redneck lineman that you could get in this draft, period. Slipped all the way down to the 57th pick, the second best guard in the draft, according to everybody. So it's like they fixed some of the major problems that they had. And the pass rush, how do you fix the pass rush? Well, you get 3 injured players back. I mean, you had the guys that came in and made it 15-2 without Aiden Hutchinson, without the top 3 reserves on the pass rushing. You wonder why we had trouble rushing the passer. So are we going to have 26 injuries next year? No. I'll go right on record and say we're not going to get as injured as we did last year. That's an anomaly. Nobody got that injured. That's like, hitting the slot machine and, like, it's okay. So when I'm totally okay with the Lions going in. I mean, the Lions wouldn't even have to draft a player, and I would have felt good about going into this next season because I would love to just go in with the team that we had last year with health. That would be awesome. But no, we added a lot of good players too on top of that. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about this season.
But then one would ask, do you think Jared Goff is heading into a year where he still has more to prove to you guys? Like, do you think he has to do more for you this season as far as the Lions Super Bowl window still being open? Like,
no.
Like, that was the question I'm sure I threw around to a lot of Lion fans. Like, is Jared Goff's time pretty much, is there some case to where your time with Jared Goff could be running thin with him?
It's not this year. The guy was a top 3 MVP. Like, let's not sugarcoat this here. Like, if you guys want to troll it, that's fine. That's if you want to troll him. But the guy was an MVP in the MVP race when won 15 games with backups and I know Ben Johnson is leaving, but this was the offense. I know Ben Johnson came in, but you know what they do is they send in 5 plays. They talked about this in one of the podiums last year. They send 5 plays into Jared Goff. Jared Goff looks at the line, and then he decides the offensive coordinator is Jared Goff. That is the way that it's been. That's the way that it's been since the beginning. When Ben Johnson took over play calling duties, it wasn't right away. People act like Ben Johnson just came in and was a savant right off the bat. Dan Campbell called plays while Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator for the first few weeks before he gave up those rights. Johnny Morton, who is our new offensive coordinator, co-wrote the entire offense with Ben Johnson. So, as far as a brand new offensive coordinator coming in here, I mean, it's not brand new. I mean, the guy has authorship over the offense that we have right now. And on the defensive side of the ball, Kelvin Shepard's been here since day one. Lions don't just draft and develop players. They develop coaches. As you can see, we got 2 coaches that just went to be head coaches. So that has never happened here. When people leave the Lions organization, they usually leave to go and kill their career, because you ain't leaving here as a coordinator and going and getting a job anywhere else. That's the way that it used to be. Now we develop coaches. Now the coaches go on and move. But the thing is when you're developing coaches, the next man's up's been on the roster. They've been talking about it for 2 years that Kelvin Shepard's going to be the new DC. This isn't new. This isn't like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Oh, Aaron Glenn's going to leave. Oh, what are we going to do? Ben Johnson's going to, what are we going to do? The plan was already in place. They knew what they were doing from the get-go. And then when they do it, everyone's like, what are you going to do? We already knew. Kelvin Shepard was the next guy to step up. It's easy. It's an easy decision. It's the easiest decision since making decisions.
You like that?
Oh, gosh. Morton is a horrible play call. How do you know that? Morton is he went and he played offensive coordinator at the Jets for 1 season and made, oh, man, who's their quarterback they had that year? God, who was that? Josh McCown. I'm saying this is your boy right here. John Dorn is flexing on me because of his offensive coordinator days at the Jets, where his quarterback was Josh McCown. And then he had some other, I don't even remember who his running back was. Oh, gosh. And they had career years, by the way. Wow. A good year out of Josh McCown. John Morton got a good year out of Josh McCown. Let that sink in, John.
You like that?
And by the way, he was just the passing game coordinator for Bo Nix, which they had more 20-yard plays down the field than anybody in the NFL. Come on. Marcus is in here. Give it to him. Give it to him. Wow. Nonsense comes to see. I come in here and I try to have a good conversation with A-Dub in here, and John's got to come in with his nonsense. That's your boy. That's your boy right there. Minnesota. I'm going to Minnesota. Minnesota is, gosh, minus the quarterback thing. It's like, gosh, man, they made some moves that are pretty scary, especially when it comes to Brian Flores and that defense that was already pretty good. You giving him some playmakers over there? Are you fearing the Vikings at all, or do you think this is just back to reality for J.J. McCarthy? Welcome to the NFL.
It's my quarterback.
Much of what happens with the Vikings remains to be seen. Like I had my story where last season I said the Vikings year depends on what you get out of Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold gave them the type of bounce back year that had them winning 14 games and making the playoffs all the same. It was like Kevin O'Connell definitely got the best out of Sam Darnold, and I'm sure Viking fans have their beliefs that what he did for Sam Darnold, he can do for J.J. McCarthy as well once he's healthy. Like, it could be another year where Vikings season depends on what kind of play you get from J.J. McCarthy. Like, you got the supporting cast that can carry you this season. Let us see how far it takes you. And about the free agency moves the Vikings did, I like to think they had to do that much, especially when it came to having very few picks going into the draft. Like, did they make enough free agency moves to the point where they didn't have to worry about the draft picks that they had? Like, they had about 4 picks when they went in, so it became very important that whatever moves they did before the draft came around, they had to make sure they hit on them perfectly in terms of not having to depend too much in one area being the draft. And how fearful I am of the Vikings, I'd say it's a so-so kind of thing, because the thing is, you're bringing in a QB who is not very much experienced or hasn't even seen a full snap in the NFL just yet. So, yeah, it's an unproven commodity that you're bringing in at that position, which says enough to where, yeah, there is a bit of thought about your season not going as well as you think. Like, it's always the mystery element that says enough about how much you can worry about somebody.
Yeah, the McCarthy thing, that's wild card to me, because one of the comments I've always made is the biggest, scariest thing that any team can do is progress. Like, that's bigger than free agency. It's bigger than any one guy that you can bring in. Just taking a guy from the second to third year, from the third to fourth year, and when you got a plethora of those guys that are just getting better, and you don't have to add players, and then those players just get better, that's scary. That's the scariest part. Like, to me, like last year when you guys got Josh Jacobs, that wasn't as scary as thinking of what Jordan Love could be with a full off season. Timing with his wide receivers and getting all that stuff. So that's where I think teams really take the jump, is with their progression, when you get 4 or 5 guys that are doing that. When it comes to J.J. McCarthy, he was able to take mental reps last year, during his season. He was able to be in the room when they were putting the plays together and watching how they draw up the offense. So he's not a rookie. This is not his first year. He's been in those meeting rooms. He knows where the cafeteria is. He knows where all the stuff is there. He's not a rookie. He gets to go through this whole off season, and then maybe he's like a super rookie, with a little bit of extra in there. But he's got so many playmakers that it's kind of like Goff. Like, Goff's not the best athlete in the world, but what he does do that's elite is he gets the ball out of his hand really, really fast, and we got a lot of playmakers that can make plays. That's what J.J. McCarthy has too. So if he doesn't hang on to the ball and, run around, and he's able to just get it out to Hawkinson and Jefferson and Addison and all these different playmakers, I mean, that offense could run well. So that's what's scary about them, is progression. Now, the Bears, that it's not as scary to me as the Bears, because they just added players, right? There's no progression there. There's progression from Caleb Williams going from the first to second year, but you got a whole new, array of people that you're going to have to get continuity with, So they're not progressing altogether. They're going to go into a year where they get to have a year together. And then the Packers actually have the progression part down, right? You have a lot of young players that have been here year 1, year 2, year 3, and you're moving these guys. So even though on the surface it didn't look like the Packers did a lot, or not the high impact moves, but they got progression. You got your coaches bringing these guys from first to second year, second to third year, third to fourth year. So I actually think that the Packers are still kind of right where they were, vying for the NFC North right there, second, maybe first place. And that's where I feel, just my first thought of it.
Yeah.
But you never know.
And I think, and that part about continuity, I'm glad somebody said something about that, because I think that's going to be key for Green Bay, being the continuity and chemistry that has been built up for us from Jordan Love's first year first full season being a starter, because he does have more than enough chemistry built in with some of the guys that we still have on his team that are coming back into this season. Like, they've been battle tested enough. They've had 2 years to where they've made the playoffs. Like, they are very much familiar with how that atmosphere works and what it takes to get there. Like, they've been battle tested enough to where they should be more than prepared this year. Like, I've been on record saying to where, in my eyes, it is a put up or shut up year for Jordan Love, based on his experience in terms of what he's foreseen and what he's experienced, along with the players that's on this team. And like I said earlier, we know he's got the talent, and he's very talented, that he can be very solid at the position. We just need to see it manifest. Like, he does have more to prove and more he can do for this offense and this team. And definitely he does have more to prove to everybody out there that's watching him. Like, we went through a year, like last season was somewhat of a was an up and down year, somewhat of a sophomore slump year for you. Like you did fall off somewhat from where you were. We just need to see that change this year. Like, be able to keep yourself healthy and play a full year, and even with everything that we provided for you on this offense, you should be better this year. Like, you are good, but we want to see you be great.
Jordan Love has every bit of the talent to be as good as anybody, like in the whole league. And with him, it's like he has those flashes of just like, he's just unstoppable, like unbelievably accurate throws. But then there's sometimes when teams start playing him hard, and it gets to where he's got to go make the play. He tries too hard sometimes to make that play. And I think where he should like live to fight another day, where like you maybe throw the ball out of bounds, or just live to the next play instead of just like chucking it somewhere and then turning the ball over. It's like, if he can learn that turn that switch off and be like, okay, there's not anything here. Let me just throw the ball out of bounds, or let me just get the 1 yard and let's just live to fight another day. Sometimes you can like lose the game when you didn't really have to win the game in that spot that you lost the game, if that makes any kind of sense right there. Hey, John Dorn, I love you, brother. You're in there. The one thing I love about him is he gets everybody riled up in the comments. Everybody's going after him, so I don't have to anymore. That's the good thing about that. But your comments to Johnny Morton there, Bear Down Mike. I think that it's being oversold what Johnny Morton's role is here. You got to look at this like, Johnny Morton isn't the offensive coordinator coming in here. He's not installing an offense. I want that to be first and foremost here. He's not going to come in here and be like, okay, Jared, I know that you've been running this for 4 years in the same way. Everything's going to get scrapped and we're going to do it Johnny Morton. No, it's not good. He's going to keep it the same type of thing. Look at this more like Johnny Morton's been on the sideline while Ben Johnson's been like, on this remote control car going around this race track right here. And it's the performance vehicle of a lifetime. It's taking corners and he's getting crazy with it. And he's really, really good at driving it, right? Johnny Morton just got handed the remote control. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs is still Jahmyr Gibbs. David Montgomery still David Montgomery. Our offensive line is still awesome and they make plays work. Now you get to be the guy that runs the controls and you get to use this high performance machine out there. The offense isn't gonna take a step back, maybe in yards, right? You asked me a little bit earlier, A-Dub, like, does Goff need to do more? And I wanted to answer that question with a Hard no. He does not need to do more. He absolutely needs to do less within the scheme of the offense. When you got David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs as your running backs and an offensive line that loves to plow people out of the way, then you need to learn, Jared Goff, how to go. That. Yes, Jared Goff needs to do less. They need to run the ball 30 times a game and then, throw 2 deep touchdowns to Jameson Williams. Like, that would be the perfect offense to me.
I understand that. And I was asking that in a sense of what will it take for the Lions to finally make it to the Super Bowl? Like, who you feel you need to give more from on that team as far as being able to get there? Does it have to be more from Goff or some other players on that offense or the defense?
Oh, well, I mean, that's an easy answer, which it's Derek Barnes and Aiden Hutchinson. We need that. We need Aiden Hutchinson to win the Super Bowl. I mean, that's just one. It's one of the things we need. I mean, health is something that is. There's a little bit of luck that's involved with health too, because not everybody gets. Last year, the Philadelphia Eagles went into the playoffs with just all of their studs fully healthy, and they got to run it. So the biggest thing that I need for the Lions to win a Super Bowl is I need Aiden Hutchinson to be on the team. I think that's going to be a big thing. And then, we're going to have Aleem McNeil on that team, and then we're going to have Derek Barnes on that defense. And I think with those 3 players, without even adding, our first-round pick, Tyleik Williams or whatever, on the defensive line, those 3 guys right there, like, just to gloss over them like they were nothing, like, oh, you choked and you lost you won 15 games and choked. I mean, that you can say that. You can say that, but we didn't have our 3 best players. I don't think that we're going to go into the playoffs this year and be down that many people. And if we are, then, I'm sorry, but there's 32 teams in the NFL, and usually the healthiest, best team wins it. Unless you have a unicorn like Patrick Mahomes. Like, when you really think of what's happened over the years is Super Bowl winners. Oh, you haven't won a Super Bowl? Well, not many people outside of Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady have won the Super Bowl. So, you still there, A-Dub?
I'm right here.
Okay.
Sorry.
We don't have that much time left anyway. I gotta sign these people off. Anyway, but do you have any final thoughts? What do you think your let's get a way too early record prediction for you know what? We can go through this. Do you have a minute? If you got a minute here, let me get a screen share in here. I'm gonna get this image in here so where'd it go? Because I had it ready. I can put it up in there. Is this it? There you go. Okay. So let's go through these one by one for you. Can you see that?
Yeah, I see it just fine.
Okay. So, and I'm not going to give you any kind of crap on any of these picks unless you pick the Packers beat the Lions. I'm kidding. But go ahead. Week 1 versus the Lions in Lambeau. Who do you got?
Wait for that light to go off before this will unlock. It's heavier.
Or maybe not. You still there?
Yes.
Will those these
All right. Well, week 1. Well, maybe we'll do this experiment at another time. 15-2. Oh man. Yeah, I'm not all that worried about the Lions for next year. I know that we're going to be a tough. If somebody does beat us, then I'll give them some kudos. But we're a good team. The Lions are a really, really, really good team. You are watching the Lion Villain Report right here. Yes. We're brought to you by Fanatics.com, where you can get that Lions pullover hoodie right there, or you can scan that code and go to, whatever team that you follow, and save up to 25% off of your order by using that link right there, or that QR code from our affiliate marketing partners at NFL Shop and Fanatics.com. We're on YouTube. Faith, Family, and Football, Detroit Lions Villain Squad YouTube page. Right there. You can subscribe, help, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of the Lions content that we throw out there. Get into some of these comments right here. Jordan was in there getting owned by everybody. Wow. Golfer Bo. Okay, you guys were handling all the troll people in there. Third straight division win. 14-3 as she goes for the poos. There you go. Right there. A-Dub is having those FTP connection issues. That's tough. Hope he stays okay. Yeah. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Oh, man. So this is the Lion Villain Report. This is the Green Bay edition. We're talking with A-Dub about the team, about the draft, how they're feeling. And I love talking with A-Dub. Can't say as much about the other Packer fans that are in there. But I know that Lions are living rent-free in Packer heads. They are. Because they on here talking about what the Lions did and didn't do. They ain't talking about their team. A-Dub came in and actually talked about his team. You can tell that we're living rent-free in their head when they can come on here and they don't want to talk about their team. They want to talk about our team. You know why? Because our team beats their team every time that we play them. And it's going to be no different week 1. It's going to be no different on Thanksgiving. The Lions are the better team. They continue to get better. And they're going to find out. They are going to find out. Now, the Lion Villain Report, you can join me each and every Saturday morning at 11 or at 10 a.m. And that's in the Eastern time zone. Next week, we're going to be talking about those Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to try to get somebody, and maybe I'll try to find Sarah to get her to come on here and talk some Minnesota Vikings for next week. You guys out there checking out those Tigers? I wanted to say go Tigers to all those people that are out there. And it's Faith, Family, then Football right here, man. I really appreciate everybody that comes on here, listening on Saturday, spending some time with the villain, the 313 Villain. You can find me at 313 Villain on X. You can go to the Facebook page, give us a follow. Here's the follow. Here's the Facebook page right here. Follow the Facebook page. So thank you, everybody, for popping on here today. Thank you to the Detroit Lions News Podcast and the Huddle Sports Network for allowing us to broadcast onto your spot. And may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Have a great day, everybody. God bless you guys.